Hey there, hi there, ho there, hello there. My name's Adam. Welcome to Capote Inc. This is my 2000 F450 service truck. It's got the 7-tree Power Stroke diesel in it, automatic transmission. It's 4-wheel drive. It's a cabin chassis. It's got an 11-foot Knapheide service bed on it with crane. You can see the guy there, and we're gonna spruce it up a bit. So let's get kicking. Here's the service bed. Like I said before, it's a Knapheide. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 doors on each side. It's mirrored left to right, same deal. It's got this crane here. Right now I have it extended out because tomorrow morning sandblaster comes. We're going to get everything sandblasted on this, right down to bare metal. It's Minnesota. We've got rust, so we're just going to try and deal with all that. A lot of this is just paint probably flaked off over the years, gotten chipped, and you get a little bit of salt and sand or whatever behind it, and it rusts. That's how it is here. For the most part though, the body's in decent shape. You know, you got a few dents and dings. This door here, we replaced both sides. I was going to just buy new doors. As you can see, I had done on this already. This door was like 350 bucks, and it was like, oh, let's, we'll replace that, no big deal. Well then, that was about a year ago, and now I have these doors, and this side was absolute garbage. It was rotted out. You can see the rust marks here. This is a stainless hinge. So this will get blasted down, it'll look like new. But this was all rotted out along here on the factory door and quite a bit over here. So what we did with this, instead of spending, I think the doors were over $500 each delivered. That was like from eBay, that was like the Knapheide store on eBay or something to that order. We just went and got a piece of 8-inch steel. We had them sheared to shape. We rounded the corners. If I didn't tell you that, it'd be hard to know that this door is a factory door just like that. But it's a lot stronger, and we like that. So what we did was, we just sheared this, had this sheared out, rounded the corners. We removed the old door from the stainless hinge here, and then just welded it to this piece. And then we just took a piece of 1-inch strap. I believe this was 1/8-inch strap too, maybe? It's a little thicker maybe, I don't remember, it was 3/16 maybe. And we welded that. We bent it up to the, we used the other door specifications from there or whatever. We bent it up. Only fucked it up once, bending it up on the other side, but this side we bent right into shape. And then we just welded it in place. And now we have a perfectly flat surface that also has a border. So if you were working on something, this works pretty good as a service bed, like a tool bed or like a workbench? It's called a workbench. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. Where the other piece, it was flat, and you can kind of see, you get the idea from this door. It's a flat piece of sheet metal, and it's not very strong. You're not going to hammer on that, as opposed to, it's not like I'm going to be hammering on this that much either, but I feel like this is a really smart work surface. You can, little screws or something like that aren't going to go anywhere. They're going to be stopped in here. You got this 1-inch border all the way around, so I'm pretty jazzed about this. We did this on both sides. We'll show you the other side too or whatever, but, so this door, dented up, but it's going to get dented up more. It's just how we use things eventually. This door, pretty good shape. Little rust on the bottom here, but it's not through, so we're just going to sandblast that down. This is a new door. Just reuse the old hinges and reuse the old stainless hinge too. Or maybe this door came with a hinge. This door might have come with a hinge. I don't remember, but pretty simple, straightforward. So the way I used to have this set up, I've used this truck for about 1.5 years now, and the more we use it, the more we realize we like it. So I'll do another video when we're all done, showing you how we set everything up. But the way it used to be was, back here we had chains, binders, we had some straps, strappage. It was mainly stuff that we would use for the crane. Back here is also where the crane control is. We've got up and down here. Crane control. It's just a winch, manual or whatever. This door we kept long stuff in. There's like a sledgehammer, there's stakes, there's big long pry bars, just stuff. It wasn't organized the greatest. I knew I would get to the organization eventually. It's kind of like the old tool cart here. You start with basic tools and you figure out what you want to add, what you don't need. And on a service truck, I don't really see you subtracting many things. You just keep adding to it or whatever. But long length stuff was kept in here. For our transit, we kept the tripod for our transit, we kept the stick for the transit, stuff like that. This door had a bunch of shelves in it, and it will again. It was like 1, 2 shelves. And this is where I was keeping stuff like bins of like hose clamps, O-rings, little finicky stuff, electrical stuff, little kits. I'm a sucker for the little kits you can buy at like Harbor Freight and stuff. A lot of Harbor Freight stuff goes in here because inevitably you're gonna lose it, and I'd be pissed about losing a snap-on socket. So up here is where we always kept our fluids, and we will do that again. This is actually probably the worst part of the box for me. The floor here is kind of rusty or whatever. It's still a floor. I'm just gonna I'm gonna POR 15 it. We're gonna put a board over it, and this is where we keep 2-gallon jugs, some 5-gallon jugs. We'll keep funnels and stuff in here. So hopefully this is like an oily cabinet. Like if you ever have spills, you know, it's not everywhere. And actually the holes in the ground mean that any oil that gets in there, you know, is environmentally consciously disposed of. It didn't have a lot of lights on it. It had a marker light in the front, marker light on the back corner here and here. The back one seems stupid to me because you have a giant round light there. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to put yellow LEDs there and a yellow LED here. And I think that's more than enough marker lights. I'm not a big, you know, chicken light fan. Flares are in decent shape. They're metal. I thought they'd be fiberglass, but they're metal. So everything here will get sandblasted, and we're going to paint the box black. So here's our crane. It was on the bed when I got it, and it'll stay. We're going to sandblast it. I was thinking about naming it Crane Dingo, you know, it's nice and long. But anyways, it's just a simple winch system. It's kind of slow, but it works. Lifts heavy stuff. We did a manhole cover. We replaced it, you know, all the way down, taking the blacktop out, putting the new manhole ring and riser and everything in. And this thing was sweet for that, because we just hooked on to the manhole cover, the riser, just lowered it right into place, right where you want it, pick it up. Sweet deal. So hoping to get some more of those jobs. So looking forward to having that. Not to mention you can pick up heavy stuff, you know, like I've heard guys with service trucks say they'll put freaking batteries in heavy equipment so they don't have to lug them, lift them up. 5-gallon pail, set it up high for something. That makes a lot of sense as the guy gets older. I mean, I'm still pretty spry, but you know, maybe we'll have this truck another 50 years. If they allow internal combustion engines that long. Fucking government. Anyways, here's the back of the truck, tailgate. Pretty simple, straightforward. You would hook these guys on here, give it in and out. The long X's has been great. In the past, what we do is we have a fuel tank up front there. There's a whole bunch of other bracketry from the previous owner. We 86 that all of a sudden. I made the shovel holder here, shovel rake, that's been handy. I think that'll continue. I don't know what more we'll add here. I'm thinking about trying to make some sort of 5-gallon bucket rack to keep fluids in. Also to keep stakes, wood stakes, you know, like survey stakes. We kind of keep those in the side box, but I wouldn't mind, you know, over time I expect to keep those side boxes full of tools where wooden stakes that aren't a big deal could just go in some sort of holder. It's probably simple, you know, just like a ring up in the front there or whatever. Not a big deal. Bumper, this thing's a little bent up. I think eventually what we're going to do is make a new one of these guys. Something beefier. I don't know how much farther I want to go out with it. The truck's long enough as it is. I love that it's got 2 plugs. It's got your regular blade, 7 pin with a blade, and it's got the pin connector. So both kinds, which is pretty sweet setup. We got this step off of Amazon. Fat Guy Review says so far, real good. A little handle here to get up in there. I'm contemplating some sort of rail to get up in here, but we'll see what happens. License plate here, we're going to relocate that a little bit. We're going to move it up. LED light there. So, and then back here is where old clearance lights were, which I welded up these holes. We're just going to have one here. Clearance light here and here. That's dumb. You can't see this from in the truck, so I don't know. Now we're to the driver's side. This door here. A little light surface rust here, but it's not rotted through. We have this currently unattached, the rod here, because I have a toolbox I ordered from Summit Racing. It's their roll-around cart, 86 the handle and the wheels, and it fits almost perfectly in here. I would have just had to cut notches right here and here, but they were magically already here. I don't know, somebody literally had the exact same toolbox in here at one point in time. Pretty sweet deal though, because like my box just popped up in there and sat. So I will have a drawer cabinet, and this is where we'll keep all our hand tools and stuff like that. What I get from service trucks, pretty much a rule of thumb most people seem to have, is on the driver's side is where you use the tools that you're going to use the most. So we'll have all our hand tools and stuff in here. This drawer, this door here is going to be, part of it we keep as the grease gun area. So only one part of this is going to get greasy. You know, you don't throw the grease gun everywhere, you just put it right here every time. Hopefully you do a good job keeping it cleaned up, but that way you're not greasing up everything. Little things, tools and stuff. Previously, this is where we had kept the tools, just in bag form or whatever. I just had some bags, but what we're gonna do is now where like our rolling wheels for measuring, tape measures, things of that nature, paint marking, all that stuff, that'll go here. Because you roll up to a job and it's time to measure something out, you know, this is a common tool. It'll go on the side that you get out of it most often. We got this nice little tray here. This gets fluids, extra grease, Loctites, all that stuff goes in here. Again, we made this door, and like I said, I'm pretty jazzed about it. This is gonna have just a nice workspace for us. So moving forward, that'll be sweet. Same thing on the other side. This is the first one we bent up, and honestly, I should have made the other one first because this is the side we'll use more often. What we did was I just put the bend in the wrong place. It was like we needed to measure 15 inches here, whatever it was, and like 44 inches here, whatever it was, 54 inches. And I, like an idiot, did like 15 inches here, and then 15 inches here. So it made an odd shape. Just straighten it back up, and Bob's your uncle, we're back where we're at. Filler neck, we'll get us a nice sticker, diesel fuel only, so that we don't screw that deal up. This door here, we had kept cribbing in, and we also had hydraulic jacks, a couple Harbor Freight ones or whatever, so that's where we kept that. And that's actually where the most rust damage is, and I'm going to show you that up close quick, and we'll go over that. Hi, Ford. Hi, buddy. Let's tell him. Let's tell him. This is my puppy, Ford. Ford, say hi. Yeah. All right. Down, buddy. Down. Good boy. So this is where we incurred the most rust damage, which makes sense because it's behind the wheel on the driver's side. Typically, the driver's side of cars in Minnesota rust out the most often. They put the most salt on the center line of the road, typically. So you'll find this. And the idea that if this is parked up next to a curb, if salt and sand were ever to get thrown on a truck or a vehicle or whatever from a plow, it comes from the driver's side. Look it up. So this part here, there was some rust holes through here. It was pretty soft or whatever. And what I did is I went to my local metal shop and I had them bend me this up out of, I think this was out of 1/8" steel too, maybe a little less. Maybe it was like 14 gauge. Maybe it was 14 gauge here. Maybe that is 1/8". I don't know. You know, tell me in the comments. Anyway, so the only difference between this piece and these pieces is this lip right here is, on these, is a folded over lip. This is just a straight lip, but this metal is thicker than this metal, so this lip's pretty stout. And this floor was cracked and rusted and rotted. So I just had them, I just took the measurements and we just did this square shape with a little 1-inch lip, because that's all it is from the factory. And that lip hangs down and it just gets spot welded from the backside all the way around. So yeah, we did clean this up a little bit, and Bob's your uncle, it's back to where it needs to be. So replacing the floor in these things really isn't that hard because they're just spot welded. The floor is just spot welded, and then they caulk the seam on the inside on this type of bed. You know, I can't speak for others, but then they just caulk the seam all the way around, and it makes it more weather tight. So it's not that hard. You cut the floor out. It's just like if you're replacing a rocker panel or something like that, and there's a pinch weld. That's essentially what's going on here. Is it's a pinch weld the whole way around. Once you get the metal out of the middle, that side piece is actually pretty easy to remove. You just grind your spot weld off or whatever and tear the piece out, or however you do it, cut it off and just clean it up. And my new one slid right up in there. It fits super nice. Drew, shout out to Drew, did a great job bending the steel up. Clamped it in place, cleaned the metal up first, clamped it in place, re-spot welded it in, and yeah, I'm back at it. Nice solid floor again. This one will have a shelf in it too. So that's kind of the introduction and the past of the truck. This thing has been an absolute money pit. I bought it on an auction for like 2,800 bucks. Thought I was just like farting in silk, like I'm suckers, right? No, idiot. So far, we put new injectors in it, and the truck ran great. Then the transmission went out, so we got a new transmission put in it. Then we ended up with a dead hole in the engine. So then now it's got a good used engine in it. The engine in this is really strong, doesn't smoke, starts up awesome. So pretty jazzed about the reliability there. We took all the new parts, we put on the old engine, put on this one. So this has got brand new injectors. Well, injectors that aren't very old. It's got new glow plugs, got new, all the whole 9 new really the harnesses, injector harnesses, all that went into this truck. So we're gonna take the wheels, we'll get those sandblasted, and we'll get those painted, probably go black on those. I put the running boards on, those will stay black. I have a new bumper for it, that'll be black. I have a brush guard for it, that'll be black. The box will be black, and all my trucks are this generation Super Duties, and they're all the same color silver, so we might as well paint this one silver too. So we're gonna paint the cab. Cab is in really nice shape. There's, well, from Minnesota, but there's a slight bit of surface rust along the bottom of the door here, so we're gonna get that cleaned up. This is gonna get blasted. These have a piece of stainless, just a square. I assume maybe it's a rock art or something like that. So we'll get this blasted and painted, and we'll put the piece of stainless back on. There's little rust spots, you know, where paint chips have happened, but really nice. The cab corners are nice. The rocker panels are nice in this. For Minnesota, they're Minnesota nice. So we'll get those all cleaned up again or whatever, and make sure any surface rust is treated properly, and then we'll spray this thing silver. So I hope you enjoyed the introduction, you got it, tour to the service truck here. Part 2 coming soon. Hopefully it's getting sandblasted in the morning. It'll get painted, then we'll start buzzing the cab down, paint that. And like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one.